Welcome to the Coaching Central channel where we talk all things coaching, hospitality, and business psychology.
One look and I breathe.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Brown Couch podcast with the Coaching Central. Today, we're going to be talking about what's the craziest thing you've ever had to do to get to a job interview. Now, I just want to say I love the working environment and I love to be busy and working. And so I've gone on, I've done quite a number of different jobs and have gone on quite a number of different interviews. And one of the craziest stories I want to share today is, how I got to a accounting interview. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was in Jamaica and, this was after the hurricane and I got a call for a accounting position because I've done banking and finance. I've been accounting for quite a number of years, and so that was like a go-to thing for me to do when in a new country. And so I got the directions to the place, and I want to tell you, this place was like, real far out. I've never been in that part of Jamaica before. I didn't even know where I was going. I used my maps, and for some reason I didn't even know which taxi I was going to take to get to the location. On-time taxi is something like Uber in Jamaica, but it's like recent. Back at the time when I was trying to get to my interview, we didn't have on-time taxi. So you basically had to know which vehicles were running around that location and actually where you were going. So I set off on my journey. I decided to, take the bus. It was somewhere in New Kingston, so I decided to take the bus. I was in halfway 3 at the time, and I was just lost. So I stopped a guy and I asked him, where is this place, where I was going to the job interview. And he told me I had to walk a good bit distance, or I could have taken a taxi. It's going to leave me out to the front of, but on the back end of the location. And then I would have to take another taxi. Guys, I was just stressed out because I like to get to my interviews like an hour before the time, just so, I can see the other candidates. I can talk up a bit with them and, I can mentally prepare myself. And so I started walking. It was a good distance, like a 30 minutes walk. I'm now sweating. The sun is hot. I have natural hair. And so I decided that day to wear like an afro. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyways, I'm at the gas station now and I'm just overwhelmed. I'm stressed out. I don't know where I'm going. I'm counting down the time. I literally have 30 minutes to be on time to make it to my 1 hour mark. And I'm not at nowhere close to the location. So I'm there waiting. 30 minutes go by. I'm now on the clock. It's 30 minutes, before my interview time. And I'm just how am I going to get to this interview on time? And quick pause. I just want to say some of the things that you should do to, if you have a job interview is, first of all, know where you're going. Make a list of things that you need to do, before a interview. That way you can prep yourself. These are things that, I wish I knew back then. Obviously through years of experience, I know them now, but back in the day, I wish I knew this type of stuff. So I knew about, looking up information about the company, obviously, looking up questions they may ask me as a candidate. So I was good on that end, but actually getting to the location, knowing where I was going, like I've been like not so big on figuring out where I need to go. I'm like bad at locations and finding places, but I'm very good at landmarks. So one of the ways I usually remember places, I would use like landmarks, different things that pop out that stand out to me to remember the spot. So anyways, back to the story. So I'm there now. It's 30 minutes down. I don't know where I'm going. I'm overwhelmed. I'm hot. I'm sweating. If you're a natural hair person and you wear afro, that it makes you hot. So I'm here standing up at a bus stop. There's people in Jamaica that do delivery on bikes. And so you may have like, food delivery. You may have people serving papers, people who work for lawyers and, that type of stuff. You also have people who do like the day-to-day, like dropping off things for their office at different buildings, and they use their mode of transportation is a bike. So here comes this guy. He's working for Singer, which is a big furniture place in Jamaica. It's like a home store. I don't want to say store because it's way bigger than a store. Obviously, they sell like furniture pieces and stuff. So he's dropping off a package at the gas station, and he saw that I was a bit frustrated, and he stopped by and he says like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? And I'm like, no, I have an interview. Here is the location. I'm using my map. I'm really lost. I don't know where I'm going. And he's like, oh, I'm driving around that area, but it's like the area there, the roads are bad. You would definitely have to be on a bus coming from a different direction, or from a taxi from a different direction. I'm like, what? He's like, you're at the back of this location. Jamaica is a big place, obviously. So he's like, you would have had to take a taxi to go around this section. And I was just like, I'm getting a headache at this moment. Like, I do not have the time. I'm like literally looking at my watch, watching the time countdown. And I'm just like, I don't have the time to do it. So he's like, so what are you going to do? I'm like, I need to get to this interview. I don't have the time to take a taxi to go around the other side, to take another taxi to get to the location. So, is it possible for you to drop me? I kid you not. I didn't know this guy from Adams. I didn't even know if, I could trust him. I mean, he was in a work uniform, so I'm using my better judgment. Like, I don't think he would do anything in his work uniform. It's a bike. Like, I have on a skirt. I had on my little, ballerina flats. Like, am I really going to get on this bike to get to this interview? Guess what? I did it. I jumped on the bike and I was like, okay, this is your shot to get to your interview, and this job better be worth it. So, you know what? Take the opportunity. So he's like, okay, I'll drop you. I am holding on to this stranger for dear life. I'm trying not to get my leg burnt on this bike. And we're going through like small, like those little alleyways. And I'm getting nervous because I'm like, is this guy going to kidnap me? Is he going to take me somewhere, that's far from the location? Like, I really don't know what the building looks like. And use your maps. Have a picture of what the building looks like, where you're going, and like landmarks close to the location, so you have an idea. Like, when you pass certain landmarks, like, okay, I'm getting close to the building. Or when you see the paint job, you're like, okay, I know what the building looks like. This is a building. Like, I didn't know those things. I was just trusting that the stranger was going to drop me where I needed to go. It was like the craziest experience. So we're going through these little roads. He's like, I'm taking a shortcut because I'm riding a bike, and so I can do this. And I'm looking at the areas we're going through, and I'm like, these people do not look like friendly. Like, what are you doing? First of all, I'm like second guessing myself. I'm now sweating. I'm now panicking because I'm like, this guy can be a killer. I don't really know if I can trust him. I'm on a bike with a stranger. Like, why did I do this? But at the same time, I'm like, I need to get to my job interview. Obviously, I want to get a job. I want to be paid. So I'm just like, okay, you need to go through this. Because at the time, my siblings were going to college in Jamaica. And as the older sibling, like, I wanted to have a job so that I'll be able to help them out. We're on this bike, we're going. And then, the guy's like, oh, you seem like a nice young lady, and I really hope you get this job. And I'm like, I don't want to have any small talks with you, sir. I just want to get to the location so I can breathe, so I can relax, so I can think about how I just jump on a bike with a stranger that could have like killed me or something. So we reached to the location, and he's like, we're here. This is the location. You just need to walk around the corner, and there's a security that's going to be there. And you just need to tell him what, He was an older guy, so he was like really nice and really like, like a father figure kind of, because he was like looking out for me and saying, you just need to tell him what you're here for, and ask for him to ring you into the building because the security would have to open the gate. The gate was locked and stuff. There's a special thing that they have to press to open the gate. So came off the bike and everything, and he was like, I really hope you get a job. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, bye. Like, awkwardly, because I'm naturally like an awkward person. And so I waved bye to him, and I just took a deep breath, a sigh of relief, like, thank God, like, I made it to the location for my interview, and thank God this stranger did not kill me or ride me into an alleyway and do something crazy to me. So one of the things, like a tip I want to leave with you guys is that, don't jump on bikes with strangers. Look for a public transportation or private transportation, like, that you can trust, like Uber or, the other modes of transportation that are public, that has a video. Always tell your family members where you're going. Also, always have your location on so they can find you. Also, put on like Find My Phone. That in your settings as well. So if somebody kidnap you, they have your phone. At least they can track the phone and your location. So I went around the corner. I got the security to ring me in. And I'm sitting there for my interview, and everyone is talking like, they got there on time. They're so happy. I literally got there like 5 minutes before the time I was supposed to be there, which is okay, but still, you want to make sure that you're there before you're at the interview, like 15 minutes before the time, so that you could sit, you could relax, you could reflect and kind of prepare your mind for the interview. So I got there, I was hot, I was sweating, I had on long sleeve that day as well, like being in the sun with an afro with long sleeve, like I don't know what I was thinking, but anyways, I'm sitting on the couch and everybody's just going over, how they got there, and all that was playing in my mind was the fact that I got on a bike. I had to walk 30 minutes first of all. Then I jumped on a bike with a stranger, everybody's sharing their stories. And I'm like, I cannot even add to the conversation because I'm literally thinking how I could have just gone with somebody and end up on the news. So I was a bit worked up before my interview, and that's something that you don't want. You want to be at peace, being in your confident zone and owning in on your confidence before, your interview. So I get into this interview, and it's like three persons, and they looked me up on Facebook. Another tip, whatever you post on social media, make sure that it's a representation of yourself, the actual person that you want to present to the world. Because if you post the wrong thing on social media, that could make you miss out on a job opportunity. So you want to have, proper representation of yourself. You want to be able to have things on social media that are positive, and pictures as well that are, modest and positive, and, will show you in a positive light. Okay. So they looked me up on Facebook. I didn't have much pictures on Facebook at that time. And I was like, what? They looked me up on Facebook. They was like, yes, we looked you up on Facebook. You seem to be a nice person, presentable person. I was like, thank you. And they were like, how did you get to the location? And because, you've recently moved here. So I had to make up a story on the spot. Like, I took the public transportation. After I got off the bus, I took a private taxi to get to the location. It's like, I'm talking a bunch of crap because obviously I had to jump on a bike with a stranger to get here, but I could not let the interviewer know that. And, they asked me the regular questions about accounting, my experience with accounting, how long I've been doing it. We go through the regular and everything. They like me. They can see me as a good candidate for the job. They're going to give me a call, like in the next 2 days, to let me know how things, like they asked me things about the company. So, and I could have shared information about the company because obviously I went online, look up the company, know what the company goal was and vision, and what they were trying to achieve, and to see how I would fit in with that vision and how I could be an asset to their company. So of course I'm saying all those things, and they seemed impressed, and how they were talking to me was as if like I already got a job. So I'm happy, I'm thrilled. I'm like, okay, jumping on the bike with a stranger to get to an interview was not so bad after all. Like, it may have been the thing that got me the job, and I can tell this crazy story, in the future of how I started working for the company and how I got to the interview. Tell me why after 2 days I didn't hear anything from them. I called and I reached out, and they're like, oh, we're still thinking and we're still going through the candidates. We'll get back to you. A week later, I called to check up, because I'm somebody like that. I want to show you that I really want a job. I'm eager to work for you. I'm not somebody that's going to sit around and wait for you to call me. Like, I'll wait 2 days the max. I'm not going to sit around, wait for a week and not check in to see, if I was successful, yes or no. That's something that you want to do. You don't want to go to an interview and then wait around a week to hear. You at least want to check in, because when you check in, it shows that you're interested. It shows that you're about your business, you're serious. So all that good stuff. So anyways, a week later, I checked in, and they were like, oh, unfortunately, we went along with another candidate. I was so mad. Like, I was so mad. I was so annoyed, because I was like, I had to spend hours on the public transportation. If you've ever been to Jamaica, being on the public bus, it takes forever for you to get to your destination. If you're going to somewhere for 4 o'clock, you need to take the public bus at 2. Seriously, because it takes forever, because they make a lot of stops, and you feel like you're on the bus forever. So anyways, I had to endure that, then come off the bus, walk 30 minutes to, a taxi stand in the hot sun. I was sweating. I had my afro, I had long sleeve. I was overwhelmed. On top of that, I jumped on a bike with a stranger, and you're now telling me that I did not get the job? Like, are you kidding me? So, sorry for my rant. I was so disappointed. But I was happy for the experience because it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me that, I'm very resilient. I'm a strong person. I can work under pressure. Like, regardless of what the circumstance presented itself, I have a strong willpower because I was able to overcome all the different pop-ups and obstacles of moving back to a country that I wasn't in for years. Then I was able to overcome the stress of taking the public transportation, asking, not being afraid to ask strangers questions when I couldn't figure out the location, and putting my faith in God to protect me by jumping on a bike with a stranger. Now, would the mature me do that all over again? Obviously not. I would not go about it the same way. And that's the lesson life teaches us. Like, we get our experiences and we're supposed to learn and grow from them. Like, the younger me, was a bit naive. The older me can appreciate, my power, my strength, the different attributes that make me who I am today. It's that same drive, that same willpower, that same motivation, and that same, vigor that has transcended into the woman I am today. So I'm very grateful for my different life experiences, and I'm happy that I was able to learn something in today's podcast. I hope by sharing my experience with you, it can teach you a thing or two. Like, girl, guy, people out there that are going on interviews, find out as much information about the location you're going to. Look up the company, see what the company is about, know their vision, their goals, and see how you fit in with that company. Read up on the position that you're applying for. At least know some information about what it is that you would be required to do. And don't fully, go in like a chicken without a head. At least put some thought into what you're going to say and look up some interview questions. That way you can prep yourself. Now, use your maps. Google Map has improved a lot. Make sure you use your map. You put in the location. Learn to use your map and learn to read your map. Even if you're going on a walk, use your Google Map. Get familiar with using your Google Map. Turn on your notification, your location, so that your family members know where you're going. Turn on your, Find My Phone. It's just for your safety, as well as take public transportation and use a transportation company that is trusted, one that has like video camera. So if something should happen, people can pick it up on a camera. Just go about things with a mature mindset. Always look up the color of the building, what the building looks like that you're going to. Look up landmarks that are close to the area, so when you pass those landmarks, you're getting close to the building. Like, those are some of the things that I've learned now, but my younger self, no, obviously. I've had some crazy getting to the interview stories, and this is just one of them. I'm interested, to learn what are your crazy stories or some of the crazy job experiences that you've had, or some crazy get into the interview location stories. I have a few more and I'll save them for another time. I want to thank you for your support, for listening to today's podcast. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you will come and check out our channel again. If you like today's podcast and if you want to join in the conversation, you can leave a comment below, or you can send me an email. My information is listed in the description box. So send me your stories. Share your crazy work experiences and your crazy get into the interview stories with me, and I will read some of your stories in my next podcast. I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you again for supporting us at the Coaching Central.